Hey guys, so I'm here with baby Leo and today I'm going to talk about what I think is needed to have a reborn, both before you get your first reborn and then afterwards for caring for it. These are just my personal opinions. There are many videos out there that you could watch that might say the same or have different opinions. That's cool, but I've always wanted to do this just because there's some things that I think everyone should have a bit more knowledge on. And I'm still learning as well, so these are some things that I've picked up as well that I'd like to share with you all. So without talking too much more, here is my list. Before getting your reborn, I think it's really important to decide where you're going to put it. If it's going to be put away in a closet or out on display, or if you're going to get yourself set up a nursery, that's entirely up to you. I remember when I first got my first reborn, and I just set up a box for him. I didn't have anything really lying around, but the best thing that I think that you could buy is a basket. This is what Leo's in. He's in a basket, and yeah, they're really cheap from the local store. And they make really good prop because you know, if you put a cushion underneath, you can sort of prop it into the right position for them to lay in, and it makes for really nice photos, especially if it's a newborn baby. You can also try a washing basket. There have been some really cool ideas where you can make your own sort of bassinet out of a washing basket and some fabric. And you know, you could check out op shops or used stores and pick up really cheap baby gear if you want to spend that kind of money. But if it's your first reborn, you might not be as keen to do that. You might not want to get fully into reborns until you know what you're into. So a basket's probably the best idea, especially if you want to store them somewhere. You know, it's just easy to lift up and move about. I for one have a porta cot now. I was given it, so yeah. Anyway, I still use the basket for propping them up and taking photos and stuff like that. The next thing is obviously a blanket of some kind. There are so many different blankets out there that you could have. Most reborns, when they come home to you, should come with a blanket. At least that's what I tend to do. As you can see with Miss Olivia here, she's got like a little muslin kind of blanket, thin cotton thing. And then this is just a cot blanket that was mine when I was a baby. And I've got polar fleece blankets, you know. It's up to you what kind of preference you want to have receiving blankets. Yeah, just a blanket so you can wrap them up. Not only is that, you know, realistic, it's also protecting them from dust and the elements, especially if you have your babies nearby a window or something like that. It's just protecting the vinyl. So a blanket is a must-have. Also, a must-have, in my opinion, is mittens and socks. I know that when we start getting reborns, we start nesting, we start buying clothing. My advice is not to buy heaps of clothing before you get your reborn. By all means, go crazy afterwards. But beforehand, you don't know what size they're going to be. Even if it says on the website what size clothing they're going to wear, you never know exactly. Each reborn artist might have different bodies, different ways of reborning, and you don't want to go and spend a lot of money before you've actually got the baby there and then have half your clothing not fit. It's always a good idea to ask a reborn artist what kind of clothing that they fit, and again, depending on brand and sizing can be really different. Leo can fit from Prem to 0 to 3 depending on what brand I use, but he's mainly newborn. So yeah, I would prefer to suggest you get mittens and socks. Again, it's just a protection thing. When you're holding your reborn, their hands can rub up against your clothing, and especially if you're wearing like jeans or dark shirts or something like that, there is the risk of their hands changing colour from pressing up against you. So even though sometimes it's a bit of a pain, mittens are definitely a must, and again socks as well, just for the protection of their feet. Yeah, I mean, you've spent so much money on the reborn itself, you don't want to risk any harm coming to it that could be prevented. And again, don't go overboard, like I said, with the clothing, but definitely get at least a onesie, a white onesie if you can. I don't know if you can see, oh there we go. He doesn't have a white one, he has a grey one. I couldn't get him white, but it's just a singlet onesie. He wears it all the time. I don't take it off of him unless I'm doing a full change. All my reborns have at least one onesie that stays on all the time, and I generally get them either in white or pale colours, and I generally get them a size smaller than what the actual reborn is, so it fits more snug to their body, and you can kind of hide it under the clothing that you have. Hats are also important. If you have a micro-rooted baby, so they've got hair that's micro-rooted like Olivia here, you don't want that to become a nightmare to deal with. And then I've got some stuff to talk about after that for hair, but hats, just like a plain cotton hat, are really good for just protecting that hair when you don't have it out on display. Most of my babies live in hats just because I don't want the hair to be ruined. Personal choice. You can use woolen, but I'd be careful with how many times you're taking the hat on and off, as it can affect the mohair, not in a bad way, but you know, it can frizz it up a little bit and you have to work with it a little bit more. Sometimes it knots, and so it's just best to take good care of it. But also hats are a lifesaver for heads that have got hair, and then also heads that don't have hair, as Leo doesn't have any hair right now. He is bald. I haven't micro-rooted his hair yet, and so instead of looking like this all the time, it gives him a bit of character to have his hat on. Now I'm not probably going to be able to pull that on, so I'll just pull his hat up. So yeah, it gives character for babies that either have painted hair or are bald, to have an accessory. So yeah, and if you've got a girl and you're certain that it's going to stay a girl, because sometimes when you make a reborn or buy a reborn you think it's going to be one gender and then it changes when you're holding it in your arms, you could go ahead and buy a bow or make one. Quite a lot of my ones are made, so yeah, it's a great craft to enjoy. So yeah, but that's not really a necessity in my opinion. You just, once you get through having all the necessities, you can go out and buy all the things that you want as well, or make them, which is really cool. Next on my list is here, so back to Olivia. I prefer to use a toothbrush for brushing mohair, especially babies that have directional micro-rooting or a swirl. A big brush such as a baby brush can be a real pain to get into making it all sit nice and neat. So I use a soft toothbrush. Don't get anything but soft, because you'll end up pulling out half the hair. And it is normal for some shedding to occur in the first 2 weeks, and again over time when you're brushing, especially if you brush often, you'll find that you'll see at least 1 or 2 hairs come out with every brush. It's the same with our hair, we lose hair as well, it just goes with brushing our hair. So I suggest the hat again because you don't have to brush the hair nearly as much. And if you've kept it nice and safe and you're not removing the hat on and off all the time, it'll be much better. But if you are wanting to have the hair out and you want to brush it all the time, yeah, that's just a warning. Make sure that the brush is soft, and toothbrushes are really handy for setting the hair correctly. I generally use water, but you can use some kind of detangler spray, or maybe your artist will send you some mohair conditioner, or you can make some mohair conditioner. I think there's a video up on YouTube on how to make that, but I don't use it straight from the bottle. I learnt the hard way. I just water it down. Oops. So there's like probably that much conditioner in there, and then the rest is just water. And yeah, that helps the mohair as well. Obviously you want to condition the mohair. If you have a painted or a bald baby, you won't have to worry about that step, but it's good to have those on hand if you are getting a micro-rooted baby. Diapers. Most reborns should come with a diaper on them, so I don't think you need to rush out and get them straight away. You don't know, again, it's with the clothing thing, you don't know what size they're going to be in. Maybe your artist will tell you, and again, if you're overseas, different sizes will fit different babies. We don't, here in New Zealand, we don't go 1, 2, 3 in like size 1 diaper. We actually have it in different, some like infant and newborn, then crawler, then toddler. It's really confusing. So if you want to go out, you can get a small pack, depending on what size your baby is. It might be a little bit big, might be a little bit small, but you should be alright if you kind of go there. And this is just one that I have on hand that I use for my newborns. And again, this is not really a necessity, but I guess reborns are for realism. Role playing is great, and so having a bottle is a good idea. I suggest you don't buy formula. It's something that is unnecessary in my opinion, just because, you know, it's such a waste. In the end you just have to throw it out straight away or it goes off. But you can make formula. There's many videos on the internet on how to do that. This is just a mixture of what's it called, fabric softener and water that I've made, and I've also sealed the tip, and I like to push it down like that, and I've used silicone, waterproof silicone, to do that, and it doesn't leak, so that's great for role playing with a baby. You know, makes it more realistic. Again, not something that you need to get straight away, but if you want to have it on hand, you can go to the dollar store and buy a bottle. I've done that plenty of times, and they're really inexpensive. I got this Care Bears one for like $1.50. That's New Zealand, so you probably get it cheaper from like America or something like that. So yeah, and then to go with that, I don't have 2 of these things on hand. Oh sorry, 3 of these things on hand. But silicone is obviously a must if you want to make bottles and use them. You can't just put the stuff in there, obviously it will leak everywhere. It's not worth risking getting your baby wet or damaged. And it's really cheap from your local hardware store or Target, Walmart, whatever you have in your country. And glue as well. I prefer E6000, but I don't have any in stock at the moment, so I have used super glue that is made specifically for vinyl use for some things, but yeah, I prefer E6000, and I also use tacky glue sometimes, but yeah, it's personal preference. Just some sort of glue that you can use to work with magnets if you have a magnetic pacifier inside your baby's head. And most babies, if they do have a magnet inside their head, they would come with a pacifier. But you might not like that pacifier. It might be that you want to have new ones. Whatever, you've gone out and brought magnets and you want to make new ones, you need the glue obviously to attach it on, and the magnets too. But like different shapes as well. I would not go out and buy pacifiers before getting a reborn. As you can see, Leo's mouth is very puckered, so it's very difficult for some pacifiers to sit on him, and this one's not going to go near him, but you know, different shapes suit different babies, and he actually suits these kind, even though that's a girl's one. And you can have, you know, whatever style you want, but you've got to sort of make sure that it's going to fit your baby. If you're going to buy some cheap ones. Don't go out and buy expensive Mams or Nooks or anything like that until you know what sort of shape fits your baby's face. And again, you know, you might have a baby that's got a mouth that's open, so you can just modify the pacifier like that. And then obviously the pacifier brand new comes like that. I haven't modified this one. So they are something that you can get if you really want them. Biggest thing that I would suggest any reborn mum to have, or dad, sorry, is a box of this. I've just done a video about it. It's not going to focus. Acne Cream. Like I said before, over the hands and the feet, they could get your clothing rubbed on them, and most people will freak out when they see blue on their baby or whatever colour that comes on. It is easy to remove. 99% of the time it fully goes away, otherwise you might see a very faint blue mark on your baby depending on how long you left it there and you know, how big it is. But this stuff here has worked really well for me. I've had no problems getting anything off. It has an ingredient that you need to have, so you can't just go buy any acne cream. You need to have the one that has that benzoyl peroxide 5% in there. That is the active ingredient that really makes it work. And yeah, it really works. Watch my video that I've got coming, or is already up, about that, because Charlie's blue at the moment. So yeah, I think this is something that any reborn collector should have. Just comes in a tube like that. I'm sure you can get it in bigger tubes, and you just apply it to the baby on the spot and put it out in direct light kind of thing to activate the cream, and then it will remove most stains. It's truly a wonder as an artist and a collector to have that in, so I suggest anyone get that. And then some babies come to you and they might be pre-loved and they might be shiny. If you change your baby lots, so if you dress them in the morning, dress them at night, they are going to become shiny. You can use baby powder to fix that. I have just Johnson's baby powder. I've barely used any of it. It's something that's lasted me forever, and I've got so many babies of my own. So yeah, and I don't apply it often, only when necessary in my opinion. And then a lot of people have those brushes that have the thing that goes over top. I can never remember what they're called. They're better than this, but this is just a Sigma brush my friend gave me. And I just apply the baby powder with this. These are really handy just to work the vinyl really quickly. The other thing I suggest is having a small paintbrush, so you can clean the dust that gets in the creases away from their faces. That's really important in my opinion. But the most important thing, especially when preparing for a reborn, I think is just to talk to the reborn artist that you're buying from, or the person that you're buying from, and ask what is coming home with this baby, what to expect. It's not rude to ask that in my opinion. I think any reborn artist should be clear in what they're giving with the baby. Most ads on eBay will say what will come with the baby, so you shouldn't have too many questions, but you can always ask. We should be all quite approachable. But I mean, for example, for me, when I send a baby away, so Olivia's for sale, and she will go with her blanket that's not here at the moment, an outfit. So she's got this wee tutu onesie kind of thing going on here. So she's a little ballerina. She's got this tutu, and she's got these these wee crocheted ballerina slippers, and so that's her outfit. It depends on the person. They might just give a top and some pants, or a skirt, or a dress, or something like that. Depends on the theme of the baby, I guess, as well, as I've made her ballerina. And I also give out woolens. My mum is amazing at knitting, as well as my aunt, so you know, she makes these things for them. So they come with that as well. They come with a sleeper, so basically you've got everything when you receive your baby from me. And most other Reborn artists are like that. They'll give you an outfit or two and probably a sleeper, just so you've got your first stuff set up. That might not be your personal preference, so obviously you might go out and buy something else, but at least you've got something for them and you don't have to go out and buy heaps of things for them. And obviously if they've got a magnet in their head, they'd come with a pacifier as well, but this baby's not at the moment getting a magnet. She's going probably to an older lady, so she doesn't need one. So yeah, that's basically it. This video is ridiculously long. I hope I've covered everything and haven't rambled too much. Yeah, I think I've done everything on my list. So thank you very much for watching. If there's anything I've missed, please leave me comments below and I'll be all too happy to answer them, or you can message me and I will reply to that as soon as I see it. So thank you very much. Bye.